Binance ex-CEO CZ poses a serious risk of flight, prosecutors claim in asking he stay in U.S. Zhao pleaded guilty to one charge of violating the Bank Secrecy Act on Tuesday. Binance former CEO, Changpeng Zhao, cannot be allowed to leave the U.S. ahead of his February sentencing on one charge of violating the Bank Secrecy Act. Federal prosecutors said in a court filing Wednesday. Zhao pleaded guilty and resigned from the crypto exchange he founded on Tuesday. Alongside Binance pleading guilty to multiple criminal and civil charges tied to its allowing U.S. users and users from sanctioned regions to use the platform without adequate Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering programs. Binance agreed to pay $4.3 billion in penalties, among the largest corporate fines in the history of the U.S. Department of Justice. In Wednesday's filing, prosecutors said Zhao, as a citizen of the United Arab Emirates, had minimal ties to the U.S. and may not return should he be allowed to leave. They noted that they were not asking for him to be jailed ahead of sentencing, only that he be required to remain in the U.S. His sentencing is currently scheduled for February 23, 2024. And he faces potentially over a year in prison, along with a fine. Under the terms of his current bond agreement, Zhao can leave the U.S., having put up $15 million in a trust account. Signed a $175 million personal recognizance bond and found guarantors putting up additional funds. This is insufficient, prosecutors said in Wednesday's filing. If Zhao did not return to the U.S., they wouldn't be able to secure the $175 million bond as most of his assets are outside the country. And Zhao is wealthy enough that he could pay off the rest of the funds without an issue, they said. There also isn't an extradition treaty between the UAE and the US. During a hearing on Tuesday, Zhao's attorneys argued that forcing him to stay in the US prior to sentencing would be a hardship for him and his family. His wife and children cannot relocate to the US during the several-month period between Tuesday's hearing and February sentencing. Magistrate Judge Brian Suchida asked prosecutors on Tuesday whether that Zhao voluntarily came to the U.S. to surrender and plead guilty meant there wasn't any serious risk of flight. There's a difference between voluntarily coming to the U.S. to plead guilty and doing so to face potential prison time, a prosecutor said in response. Bitcoin supply inactive for a year hits record high of 70%. It appears Bitcoin holders are not planning on offloading inventory at these price levels or any time soon, one observer said. The percentage of Bitcoin circulating supply that was last active on-chain at least a year ago has reached a record high of 70.35%, surpassing the previous peak of 69.35% in July. According to data tracked by blockchain analytics firm Glassnode. The new lifetime high reflects a strong belief from Bitcoin's holder base in the wake of crypto-wide contagion and macro headwinds after its all-time highs in 2021. According to Reflexivity Research, the percentage of supply that has not moved on-chain in 2, 3, and 5 years is also at their respective lifetime highs. It shows long-term investors are in no mood to sell even after Bitcoin has more than doubled to $37,000 this year. While higher prices will ultimately incentivize new sellers, with Bitcoin up over 100% in the same time period. It appears Bitcoin holders are not planning on offloading inventory at these price levels or any time soon, Reflexivity Research said in a note to clients. These metrics, however, may not paint an accurate picture once the financialization of Bitcoin through alternative investment vehicles like spot-based exchange-traded funds and cash-settled futures gathers pace. For instance, in the ETF case, an issuer, with the help of the authorized participant, will pool the cryptocurrency and move it to custody, where it sits idle. However, investors will still take bullish-bearish trades on an exchange through the ETF units. Austria's Raiffeisen Bank to roll out crypto trading for retail customers in January. The bank will start its crypto services to customers in Vienna in partnership with Bitpanda. Austria's Raiffeisen Bank will roll out cryptocurrency trading services to retail customers by the end of January 2024. The service will initially be offered to customers in Vienna, where the 97-year-old bank is headquartered, and be provided in association with cryptocurrency exchange Bitpanda, which signed a letter of intent with the bank earlier this year. "We are starting in Vienna, where about a quarter of Austria's population lives," Kurt Chutta, the bank's head of innovation, said in an interview. The customer can use their mobile device to enter Bitpanda through the Raiffeisen app. The experience will be familiar, so confirming a trade will work exactly like an account-to-account bank transfer with the same sort of security customers are used to. The move by the bank, which has some $215 billion in assets and 17.8 million customers across the European Union and Eastern Europe, is another sign of crypto adoption ramping up, particularly in jurisdictions where clarity around rules is emerging. Chutta said the service is aimed at customers who are digital savvy, but perhaps only want to make a small investment, as opposed to offerings from other banks, which are aimed at wealthy individuals with millions to invest. Bitpanda, which was founded in Vienna in 2014, is under the supervision of the FMA in Austria and BaFin in Germany, and enables firms to offer regulated trading, investment, and custody services for stocks, ETFs, cryptocurrencies, precious metals, and commodities. Binance Bitcoin reserves drop as retail flow moves to Coinbase, CryptoQuant. The move appears to be in anticipation of the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin is flowing from Binance to Coinbase, according to on-chain data compiled by CryptoQuant. Since yesterday, Coinbase reserves have increased by around 12,000 BTC, while Binance have decreased by 5,000 BTC, the research firm wrote in a recent note. The decrease in Bitcoin reserves on Binance appears to be due to retail outflows, Bradley Park, a Web3 analyst at CryptoQuant, wrote to CoinDesk in a note. The market is still nervous about the recent legal implications against Binance, Greta Yuan, head of research at Hong Kong-based digital asset platform VDX, said in a note to CoinDesk. In the short term, we will see more users move funds to compliant or licensed exchanges for peace of mind. Coinbase has stood the test of time, she said. Some analysts say that Binance's recent settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice was the last hurdle to getting approval for a spot Bitcoin ETF, and that is also affecting fund flows. With this plea deal, the expectations for a spot Bitcoin ETF might have increased to 100% as the industry will be forced to follow the rules that TradFi firms must follow. Crypto services provider Matrixport wrote. Bitcoin sender struck with $3.1 million transaction fee, largest in history. Antpool mined the block and the sender's wallet was set up just minutes before the transfer. Someone paid $3.1 million in transaction fees for a Bitcoin transfer on Thursday. Bitcoin miner Antpool was rewarded for mining the block. It received the standard 6.25 BTC as well as 85.2163 BTC in fees for all transactions included in the block, on-chain data shows. Today's transfer, mined in block 818087, becomes the largest transaction fee paid in Bitcoin's 14-year history. The sender's wallet was set up just minutes before the transfer, and the recipient received only 55.78 BTC of the original 139.42 BTC that was sent. In September, F2 Pool returned a 19.8 BTC fee that was mistakenly sent by Paxos. Antpool, a mining pool owned by Bitmain, has not published an announcement in relation to the overpaid fee. Recently, Bitcoin fees have experienced a significant uptick following increased activity around Bitcoin-based NFT project Ordinals. However, this transaction appears to be an individual error instead of a wider market impact. That's all, subscribe to the channel and see you soon.